Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our June meeting. It's hard to believe we are almost halfway through 2026. Hard to believe. But thank you. The numbers in this meeting of people attending have gone up so much over the last, I think last September, when we had the people from Des Moines and the president of the company, we had a lot of people come out that maybe hadn't come out before. Ever since then, we've had a lot more people attend the meeting. So I really appreciate you coming. My goal is that you at least learn something new if you come to this meeting in person. I used to get really nervous when the room was full. That used to be like, uh-oh. But we'll see. I'll let you know at the end of the meeting today how that goes. I'd like to start off by recognizing our employee of the month, and that's Estella Curiel. Stella has been with us since May of 2007, which is basically when we opened. There's a handful of folks that have been around that long, and she is one of them. She started as a part-time prep cook, and then within 2 months of starting here at the Heritage, she became a full-time cook. She's worked in the main kitchen. She's been at Summerfield for many years. She said that she witnessed construction of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4, which if you're at my previous meetings, you know what all those construction additions entailed. So she loves her job, and that is because she loves the people that she works with and takes care of. Joy's staying busy. She moved to Nashville in 1993. She grew up in Mexico and currently resides in Antioch. She owns 2 Chihuahuas, and she has 3 grandchildren and her son that live nearby her. It says in here that Estella is grateful for the time she has served at the Heritage, and I can tell you we're very grateful for the time that Estella has been here with us. So if we give her a round of applause. All right, I know Miss Streams is here, so if you want to wave your hand at least. There you are, right there. All right, our resident spotlight is Miss Edith Streams, and she has joined us today. She's only been here since last October, but pretty soon will be that 1-year anniversary. She was originally from the East Coast, but spent much of her childhood in the Midwest. She ended up settling here in Nashville. She pursued a degree in psychology at Swarthmore College. She played basketball and tennis, so if we have a Heritage basketball team, we know. And if we ever get pickleball here, look out. She's probably a ringer. After earning her undergraduate degree, she then attended Cornell University, where she earned a PhD in educational administration. During college, she met her husband, Wilbur Streams. They had 2 sons, 5 grandchildren. She said her passion for helping others also led her to meaningful volunteer work with the National Adult Literacy Council. If you take a look at the newsletter, there's some nice stories in here about people that she's helped out. At the Heritage, she enjoys peaceful daily rhythm. I like that. I was going to write that down. It's like, that's my goal in life. I mean, that sounds fantastic. She enjoys peaceful daily rhythm filled with the things she loves most. She spends time tending to the community garden, working out in the gym, reading books by favorite authors, and relaxing with her beloved dog, Cooper, no relation to the owner of the Heritage, I don't think. But thank you for making the Heritage your home, and let's give her a round of applause. Before I turn things over to Mr. Sellout of the community, Mark Weaver, I would like to, I've mentioned over the last several meetings that we were getting a new person for the PDP program, Professional Development Program. LCS chose the Heritage once again to host somebody in our Executive Director Administrator Training Program. There's very few people that make the cut that get into the program. I think there's only 3 people this year. And we have been chosen several times over the years because we have a pretty good track record. And I give you the credit for that because you welcome these people into our community. You help us train them. Our leadership team embraces them. And I'm not going to be talking about her anymore. I will bring her up. She's been here almost 2 weeks. So Shay Perdetto, come on up and say hello.
Hi, Hi, everyone. For those who haven't met me yet, my name is Shay Perdetto. I'm the new Associate Administrator at the Heritage. I will be here the next year training under John. Can you hear me now? Okay. Okay, thank you. So for those of you who haven't met me yet, my name is Shay Perdetto. I'm the new Associate Administrator at the Heritage. I will be here the next year training under John and Dalen. And I just moved up here from Palm Beach, Florida about a month ago now. And my background is in senior living. So thank you for having me here. I'm looking forward to a great year with you all.
Hi, everybody. All right, that was pretty good, even for a room this full. I did expect more, but that's okay. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right in to the numbers, and that's where they are, and they are better than last month. And John promised a party, and at some point we will have a party. It's already been, it will happen. So it's in other business. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of the program. But again, like I said, every time I stand up here, words out. It's it's a great place to live, and it really is because of everyone here that is so engaged and so here to enjoy life. So I appreciate you all. I appreciate my team with Jennifer and Donald and Kelsey and Jason with what he does with Kelsey with the renovations. I think we just have all cylinders firing, and I think we just are in a good position. So I appreciate everyone's kindness always to new people that come in. Welcome all the new people that have come in. We're having an event this Saturday where we have almost 50 people coming for our event on Saturday. It's our June event. And it's geared towards adult children, but we only have like a handful of them are adult children. Most of them are people that are very interested in learning more about the community and what it is to be here. So again, I thank everyone, and thanks.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Congratulations. I've been stopped several times over the last couple of weeks about what kind of therapy services we offer here at the Heritage. So we offer occupational therapy, speech therapy, and physical therapy. But we have 3 ways of obtaining that therapy here if you choose to want to do it here. The first way is called outpatient therapy. You go to your doctor and your doctor says, hey, you need a little bit of physical therapy, or you may need a little bit of speech therapy. You get an order from your doctor, and your doctor then get that order to Kathy or get it to the clinic. Excuse me, not the clinic, get it to the therapy company, which we use Heritage Health Pro. It has the name Heritage in there, but they're one of our partners, but they're not affiliated with the Heritage other than having their name Heritage in there, their name. So you get that order, you get it to the therapy company. The therapy company then gets it to our biller, Matt, works for Robert in the finance department. And then they run insurance authorizations to make sure that your Part B will pay for your therapy services. And then they will get that information back to therapy. Therapy calls you and schedules your therapy services based on what your benefit pays out. The next way of doing it is if you had an incident, accident, you wind up in the hospital, you get your 3-night stays, or if you're a Medicare Advantage, you get your 1-night stay, and you need nursing and skilled services in Summerfield. So then you would come to Summerfield and you would receive nursing services, but you would stay while you're staying in Summerfield, you would also receive PTOT and speech, depending on what therapy is recommended by your physician. That would be covered under Part A. And then unless you come off of skilled services and you're going to stay long-term in the health center and still need therapy, then that would go back to your Part B at that time. So after you have your therapy in the health center and you decide, okay, I'm ready to go home, but I'm not going to get out and about for a while, then you might receive called home health. And our therapy company, Heritage Health Pro, partners with a local home health company here in town, and that way they can come to your apartment and provide that PTOT speech in your home until you can get well enough that you can walk down to the occupational therapy or the physical therapy office or the speech office and provide that, convert it back to outpatient. So there's a different bucket of money when you use home health. But I just want to lay out that's the three ways you get therapy here on this campus. And the neat thing about that is you got the continuing of care by using the same therapist. So if you use this PT therapist here, OT therapist, speech therapist, and you're doing it for outpatient, you see that therapist. And then if you go into Summerfield and you get to see that therapist again, the same therapist. And then if you are going home and you're getting that home health therapist, that's when we partner with a local home health company to that you have that same therapist. So those are the three ways. If you have any questions, just let me know or see Kathy. And if you don't use an outside doctor, the clinic is here too. They can also provide a script that we can provide that therapy service. So thank you.
Good afternoon. Actually, it was like a year ago. I think I was standing here and I said, if you want to smile, just go outside and look at the landscaping. And time flies. Here we are again. And I've got to say to the landscaping committee and LSI, and I mean, it's just beautiful. Every morning I pull in and I'm just wow. And take a walk outside. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And I think you'll all agree they do a fabulous job. So yeah, they deserve a round of applause for sure. So also this time of year, I'd like to give my little plug on why water matters, right? As we're going into this July 4th weekend and holidays, and our temps are going up into triple digits, right? Even mild dehydration can affect not only how we feel, but how we function. And water alone can prevent that. So what does it really do? First of all, you need to understand, and I think most of you do, that about 60% of our body is water. Here we think it's fat. It's not. It's water. This is water, okay? So, but drinking water provides, it regulates your body temperature, protects your joints, organs, carries nutrients throughout your body, improves your energy, your body functions, and guess what? Your memory and your brain function. Because when you start getting dehydrated and you throw your electrolytes off balance and your sodium drops and your body and your brain is totally out of whack. So I urge you to discuss with your doctor, because I also do understand with congestive heart failure, kidney disease, you know, some of you are on fluid restriction and it's a fine line, right? It's a fine line with what you're allowed to have. But if you're not on fluid restriction with these hot temperatures coming up, but if you're like me and you really don't like drinking water, then, you know, there's other ways, right? There's watermelon, and there's strawberries, and there's popsicles, and cucumbers, and lettuce is 96% water, and tomatoes are packed with water, vitamins, and antioxidants. What I do is I put a little of the Kool-Aid drops in my bottled water and I sip on flavored water. And that's how I try to get it down. But as we know, you know, water consumption is just something that we can do something about, but oftentimes we don't. So as we know, life happens to us no matter what. Some good things happen, some not. But the important thing is what we can do about the things we can change. And two of those things that are very simple that we do have control over is staying hydrated and also deep breathing. They are the most easiest, beneficial, cheapest ways that we can help ourselves. So, staying hydrated, a good diet, exercise, staying active and social with your friends, saying yes to those dinners that they're inviting you to, just being in the here and now and making good choices keep our body and our brain functioning so much better. Be proactive and not reactive. Now, as far as the breathing goes, I want to touch on that for a second because we all walk around, and honestly and truly, as we get older, we do what they call mouth breathing. We just breathe. We don't really breathe, and we don't profuse oxygen through our body and our brain. And I'm telling you, it is the single most thing beneficial that you can do for yourself and doesn't cost you one penny. So I preach to a lot of the residents that come to me that are congested, short of breath, not thinking right. And I say, go home and every commercial, you take a big old deep belly breath in and you hold it in, and out, blow slowly. And you do that 3 times, and I guarantee you, you just gave your heart oxygen, your blood oxygen, your brain oxygen, and you perfused your lungs and expanded your lung function. And it is just, it sounds so silly and so easy, but we don't do it. And we really and truly need to. So stay hydrated this summer out there. Do your deep breathing, stay active, do your walks, and have a great summer. I also want to give hats off to the Wellness Committee. I want to, some of their healthcare presentations. Dr. Foz was here May 12th, and she's going to come back and do some hearing screenings. We're going to start them in July, probably on Fridays, and do those in the clinic, and they're going to be free. June, we had Dr. Norvell, Michael Norvell here, wonderful, talking about allergies, and he was so good that he's probably going to come back. We've asked him to come back in February and talk about food allergies. So these presentations are normally the second Tuesday of the month at 2 o'clock in here. They are really good. They are very informative. They are free. These doctors are closing down their practices and coming here to educate you. You really don't want to miss those. For July, we have Molly McDivitt, our dietitian. If you have not heard one of Molly's presentations, you need to. She's so talented, so informative, and her presentations are great. She'll be here July 15th, and she will talk about healthy eating. Nope, I'm wrong, July 14th, Tuesday, July 14th. July 15th is the drug take-back day. Didn't make it on the calendar, unfortunately, but please mark your calendars. The Wellness Committee works very hard. They go in Steeplechase Lounge. They're there July 15th from 9 to 1, and it is the time to empty out your medicine cabinets. Get rid of those old drugs, those expired drugs. You don't need them. Just bring them down. Brentwood Police come and collect them and then dispose of them properly. And then in August, I want to make a special point that the healthcare presentation for August with Dr. Ian Byram, he's an orthopedic surgeon. He will be here talking about ortho problems in aging. Can we all relate to that? He is going to be here at 3 o'clock, not 2 o'clock. He is closing his office to come here to educate us. And 2 o'clock he couldn't make, so he's coming at 3. So the August presentation only will be at 3 o'clock. He's very good. Please don't miss him. Come out and support him. I'd like to take a minute and talk about the clinic. I know we've had some challenges in the clinic. I'm down there. I'm trying to help the clinic. It is staffed, as you know, by Williamson Medical Center. And some residents are very, very satisfied. They get in and out and they have no problem. Other residents are calling when nobody's there and they feel maybe they're not getting timely callbacks and that kind of thing. I just want to say that we've talked to them. We're going to try to make some steps to improve their communication. So one thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that on their voicemail, if they are closed for a holiday, we're going to put that where they haven't been doing that. When you call there, it sounds like they're always open, but if they're closed, they're going to announce that they're closed, like they're going to be closed Friday, July 3rd. They will not open again until Monday, July 6th. So that announcement will be on their phone. When a holiday falls on a Monday or a Thursday, blood work does not come either on holidays, and the clinic is usually closed. Now, what happens when an unforeseen something happens? They have a sick child. They woke up sick. So I've had a few requests from some of the residents. You want to sign on the door saying that due to unforeseen circumstances, we are closed today, so that you're not sitting there waiting. So we're looking into seeing if that can happen. But if they're not there and I'm there, a lot of you come over. If you need medical care, it's not, 911, but you need to be seen by someone and the clinic is closed, I will help you get to another clinic. Vanderbilt Urgent Care on Pewitt Drive in Brentwood is only a few miles from here, and they are open 7:30 in the morning till 7:30 at night, 5 days a week, and they're open on weekends and a lot of holidays. So we can get you transportation there, or we can get you a lift there if you don't drive. They do x-rays on site, blood work on site. They do things we can't even do here in the clinic. So I know it might be a little inconvenient, but if you need medical care, then, come see me. If I'm not here, you can call transportation yourself and say, look, I'm really, can you drop me off at one of the other Williamson clinics in the area? I have a list at the front desk with all the other clinics and where they're located. So I don't want you to go without medical help. The clinic does have a small staff. When they are sick and things happen, they do have small children. Children get sick and they don't come in. There really isn't a great way to communicate that in advance for you, and for that we apologize, but things happen. But it doesn't mean that we can't get you some medical care still. So if there's any questions about that, just let me know. All right, and that's about all I have. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you everyone for being here. Going to give some administrative services updates, and then I'm going to answer a few of the questions that were submitted that were relevant to my department as well. So first, thank you to everyone who has left us a Google review or caring.com review if that's something that you did in our previous contest window. This just helps our online presence reflect what we know is actually going on here at the community and that it is such a wonderful place to be. So in our first caring.com window, which was March 16th through April 30th, we received 8 reviews, which is so fantastic. Thank you again for that. And then in our current window, which is Google, which ran from June 1st and runs until July 17th, we have had 11 reviews, and I am blown away by that. It is so fantastic. We received some updates this week, and we are number 3 in our participating communities group. But we want to be number 1 because we know we are number 1. This is the best place to be. And we want AI to know that we are number 1. We want that to spit out to prospects and their families as well if they are going on to ChatGPT and inquiring about senior living. So there is still a time to leave a review. Let's keep the momentum going. It doesn't have to be long, a few honest sentences. So if you have not yet left a review, I encourage you to think about one person, one place, a moment at the Heritage that has meant something to you, and to leave that review on Google. And if you have any trouble doing that or need any assistance, please feel free to reach out to me, reach out to one of our IT coordinators, and we would be happy to assist you with that as well. So the first question that was received from my department was, we need a yearly pictorial directory as has been done in the past. And can Uniguest be updated with resident photos? We have several new residents without photos. So we are no longer doing what was called the annual pictorial directory anymore. We are relying completely on our Uniguest database. And so that is up to date all the time, every day. As soon as it's actually before someone moves in, that they're actually added to that Uniguest database because we are creating their profile and creating their login. That is available as a printed directory. It's always up to date in the library, or I shouldn't say always, because somebody could come in tomorrow and the library copy wouldn't be up to date, but it is updated monthly, and you can purchase an updated copy as of that day from the front desk at any time, either with a binder, or if you've already got a binder, you can provide that as well, and it saves you a little bit of money. So we do add resident photos to Uniguest as soon as we receive them. So marketing is doing a great job of helping us out with this as well, because they are taking photos for the meet and greets that they are doing quarterly. So as soon as we get those photos, as soon as somebody opts into taking a photo, we are loading those up as quickly as possible. I know personally in closings, I'm always mentioning the photos and how everyone likes to have those on there. It makes it easy for new residents, and it makes it easy for the residents who are already here to know who the new people are. We also have changed the process a little for 2026, and we are inviting new residents after orientation to have their photo taken. So we've kind of added another photo opportunity there as well. Now I'm going to talk about deliveries. So the next question that was received is, what can be done about late night deliveries and people wandering the community at all hours of the day and night, and packages being left at any door in any kind of weather? And I wish I had a great answer for this question. It is something that we are constantly wrestling with. We do require deliveries to be taken directly to your door. Of course, if it's got the correct address on it, that helps us have a little bit of ammo at the front desk as well. So if you're unsure, stop by the front desk and we're happy to make sure that you have the correct address. The exception to the door rule is that Amazon uses the United States Postal Service to deliver packages quite frequently. So for a while I was thinking, gosh, these Amazon drivers are just dropping packages in the mail rooms and not delivering them to the doors. But it turns out they are delivering those through the mailman. So he is welcome to deliver those packages to the mailroom like he does all of the other packages. And we encourage all of the drivers to use the clubhouse entrance. So you probably have seen this sign. It is on all of the exterior doors. You saying it's not? Okay, so we're missing one by elevator 16. We'll get that taken care of. So we have updated signage. This includes exterior doors and campus directional signs. And we also have maps available at the front desk as well. So a couple of years ago, resident council took this on as well. And one of the things we did was on the sign, when you come to the four-way stop, we have added this sentence here: for package delivery assistance, please proceed to clubhouse reception. So if the delivery drivers make it to the front door and come into the reception desk, they are certain to get correct directions and maps as well. We are always on the lookout for them. We're looking out the windows for the Amazon drivers. I know today, right before this meeting actually, Donna, the receptionist, was in the mailroom making copies for someone, and I saw an Amazon driver coming in the front door, and I ran out there to make sure that the packages didn't get dropped. So it is an ongoing thing. We have less issues with the drivers who work directly for Amazon. But as you know, there are something called flex drivers, and they're driving their own personal vehicles, and they are on a much tighter timeline for deliveries. And so they tend to be the ones who are running in here and trying to run out as quickly as possible. One of the things that we have done for the delivery driver maps is include these addresses here on the bottom, because although we know that Dogwood is the A building and that Magnolia is the B building, when they see B on an address and all of our directional signs say Magnolia, that can be confusing. So we do tell them that when they're at the front desk, as well as provide these maps. And then the clubhouse close-up can be helpful for them actually getting from the clubhouse door into these different buildings. So if you are having a repeated issue with a carrier, we would be happy to help you out with that. Just let me know and we can do some research. I know when we have delivery issues with our Amazon packages that are coming to our office, we have the ability to take a picture of the label, and then you can go onto that delivery, and you guys can do this as well on your Amazon accounts. And next to all of your purchases, there is a chat with us button. And you can let them know that the issues that you've had, you can upload pictures to that. It takes you to a little automated robot at first, but if you follow all the prompts, you will eventually get to a chat representative as well. All right. Cellular service. So what can be done about the terrible cellular service is the final question that came to me. Signal varies by carrier across the campus. Some areas are certainly stronger than others. A few issues are at play with cellular service. The local cell phone towers do not point this direction. And the main reason for that is because of the very large radio tower that is right out in Tower Park in front of us. We do have cellular boosters that we have also, or repeaters that we've installed on the campus, but a repeater can only repeat the things that are already there. So 100% of nothing is very unfortunately still nothing. So if you find yourself consistently unable to make calls or receive calls, one of the things that we can do is turn on Wi-Fi calling. When our IT coordinators come and see you for your first visit, this is something that they check on for you, but it's always good to check again and make sure that Wi-Fi calling is turned on, because that can greatly improve your calling experience, both in and out. I think that is all. So if you have any issues with yeah, question? Uh-huh. Yes, so he is asking about the cell phone booster. So in 2022 or 2023, we did install boosters throughout the community. They work on all of the carriers except T-Mobile. But again, they are repeaters. So if there is no signal to repeat, there is a lack of them. I don't want to say they're not working. They work, but they can only work with what is there. Any other questions? Question about cell phone service, deliveries, directories? All right, thank you so much for your time.
Sarah did half my job today, so that's kind of nice. I appreciate that. It wasn't first on my list, but and I guess let me jump back here for a second. And this is all secondhand, and I really hesitate to even bring this up because if I don't have facts, I don't normally like to say this. And Ashley is working on getting somebody from the city of Brentwood to come out and maybe talk to us. Because if you remember, when the police station was being planned, we had the chief of police, the mayor, the city manager. They all came out, kept us up to speed, wanted to be good neighbors. Well, the word on the street, again, this is all secondhand, is that they want to put a large cell tower in at the police station. Because I know the police station has the same issues we have. So rather than say that's a good idea or a bad idea, I would like somebody, if this is going to happen or they're planning, to come here and tell us what the plan, how that would benefit us. And again, I hesitate to do this because I don't have any facts, but I've heard this from some pretty reliable sources. So if we don't mind the ugly cell tower, we might get some things, improved there as well. So that's one thing just to keep in mind. The 95%, and I mentioned this, I think, last month. When we were here last September and we had just hit 90%, it was a blip. And we had a big celebration on that. And we call everything the road to 95. And at that point, I was kind of proud of myself. We did a toast. My boss was here, the president of the company. And I think I said 90% is just a pit stop on the road to 95. But little did I think we'd be at 96.71%, not even a year later. So, I mean, it's pretty amazing. And last month I went over, here are things that we're doing because we know there's more and more people. And I keep mentioning this is our last growth spurt. We are not building any more buildings. And I'm not, jumping back into this topic, but I know, Mark, they've added reservations. I mentioned that last month. And I know we were talking this week. You've added 2 more 4-top tables in the dining room. So, I mean, there are things that we are doing to try to accommodate more people. So, but moving on to a real controversial topic. Last month, I brought up tulip bulbs. I don't get shocked very often after all the years I've done this, but that one, I thought this is going to be a great topic. And the daffodil lovers just put me in my place. So I'm kind of going, well, when we opened the community, we had these buttercups that they're talking about that everybody hated, and we had to pull them all out. So then I'm confused. So rather than embarrass myself, I did what everybody does. I Googled it, and I looked, and it said daffodils and buttercups are distinct, unrelated plants that share a similar yellow color. I read further, and it says, and this is Google, it says, in the American South, including Middle Tennessee, locals often affectionately call daffodils buttercups, creating regional naming confusion. So I felt I was justified in my confusion with that. The reason I bring this up, we had worked with LSI and we paid for these 300 to 500 tulip bulbs that we think were planted. We're not sure. So those will be planted again. We paid for them. This is not going to cost us any more. But we will be adding daffodils as well so we can get so best of both worlds. So we aim to please. Incidentally, I walked down the landing strip, alley, runway. It looks pretty nice, actually. I mean, there's a lot of different flowers coming out. I mean, for a thing that was built for the fire truck access, and I know it can look nicer, but I was pretty happy that, an area that we're really limited on what we can plant. Caught cards. I'd like to read a caught card. And this one, one of our residents that is now calling Summerfield home, she wrote this caught card out, and she said that this is for Ashley Corder, who's one of our nurses at Summerfield. And she said, Ashley is a really nice person. And I'm going, okay. She said, I had a memorial service today, which unfortunately, there's several of those that a lot of us attend. And she said, and Ashley took time to iron my clothes for this memorial service, which is extremely nice. And then I continued to read. She said, Ashley took my dress home with her and came back early to work on Sundays so I could have these for the memorial service. I read that. It's like, that's pretty pretty neat. You know, and these are the things that happen all the time that I wouldn't even know about if somebody didn't take the time to write that out on a call card. So that was that really made me feel good. Resident satisfaction survey. I've been mentioning this. We're going to be doing this. Historically, every 2 years, we do a resident satisfaction survey. All the LCS communities are surveyed on this. We were on a different schedule, but they decided to put us all on the same schedule. So we are actually going to be almost 3 years since we did the last one. It'll be September. We think I'll have a lot more information in July and August, but we think it's going to be right around September 15th. And we'll probably do some kind of a kickoff event. I know it's worked at communities where we've had people come down and have an open seating area where they can fill it out and get it and kind of have a little party atmosphere. So we'll figure out some of these things. We want people to fill that out within usually a few days or a week. Our goal is 90%. We've hit 95 to 100%. We actually had 100% one year. The market research people told us that's impossible, but we said we had 100%. So, but 90% is still good. And as I was thinking about this, 3 years, has gone by quickly. We have a lot of new people that have moved in the last 3 years that have never completed one of these. So the one thing I say, if you're waiting for the satisfaction survey to have us fix problems, we failed because we're here to solve problems and we want to know about those and not hear about it every 2 years or 3 years. We've implemented a lot of things from this. We want your input, and there'll be much more coming up over the next 2 months. We are compared to other communities, so we do want to do well, but we do value your opinion on that. So I will pause before I get into the official questions and answers, and almost seems like our permanent replacement resident council representative will provide the resident council report.
Just one of the resident council. How many of you are new? Quite a few. And I thought it might be appropriate if we explained what the resident council is. We function through a series of 8 committees that handle the various aspects of our community. The staff, John and his staff, are very transparent about the activities that go on here. They communicate with us. They give us an opportunity to provide them suggestions and recommendations, and many of them are taken to heart and implemented as changes here. Those committees are activities. Every month you should be getting a calendar with all kinds of activities. That particular committee is involved in putting that together. The facility services helps to maintain and repair things around the community. The finance committee, they are very open with us about the status of our finances, what transpires. There are loans that are taken out to build this facility, and those are refinanced periodically. They keep us appraised of the status on those. Food and beverage, as it would imply, any of your comments or concerns about food and beverage are expressed through this committee to the staff, and many of them are implemented in changes. Landscaping, you've heard some talk about tulips and other enhancements. This committee, they have a member walking every area of our community looking for problem areas or things that need improvement. The library committee, we would do just as it suggests. They do basic library duties and bring in new books for your enjoyment. The welcoming committee, they meet with every new resident and explain the functions of this community, the activities that are available, try and help you through getting driver's license and whatever else you need from moving. And then there's the wellness committee, and they're involved in the wellness fair and the health presentations that are made throughout the year here. And that's how the resident council functions. We have a liaison on each one of those committees that reports back to the resident council what activities are being done, and then they're coordinated through the resident council. So if you ever have any questions about anything in this community, contact any of us on the resident council or any of the committee members, and all of that can be found on Uniguest with a list of the people that are on those committees. Welcome to all you new people, and hello to all my friends that are already here.
Thank you, Mr. Gross. We quarterly, I know people are always invited to, encouraged to ask questions at this meeting. And I know I've heard, well, it's a big room, or I don't feel like doing that. So what we started a couple of years ago is quarterly, the information requests go out week before, and then people can submit questions that we can answer. So what I will do, we did have several, Sarah covered a lot of them already, but I will cover these before we open things up for more questions if there are any. The first one was, is there any update on why the trash room doors are so heavy and hard to open? I got this and I said, I thought they were fixed. We talked about this a lot at the facilities committee. And what happened was the closures on the doors needed some adjustments over the years. They get, they just need to be adjusted from time to time. And our maintenance people went out, adjusted all of them, and the doors are so much better. I actually walked yesterday to make sure. I went Dogwood, Magnolia, Redbud. I caught random doors, trash room doors on each floor in each building. And all the ones I checked were much, much better. So you could, they are fire doors, so they're not going to be, completely easy to open, but much, much better. So, and I know at the committee, we were told that they were pleased that that had been resolved. Let us see here. Sarah covered those two. All right. So it says, since so many new people are moving in with dogs, can we revisit the fenced-in dog area, possible locations, grassy area near the pool, grassy area behind the garden, grassy area house across from Brentwood Police Department, just posts and a fence, no water needed, or petition the county or city for the grassy area adjacent to the trail area. Let's make it happen this time around. We are ourselves pet friendly. I agree, we are pet friendly. If we petition the city, they're going to say we have a dog park in Tower Park. I already know that will be their answer. And it's not just so simple of putting up a fence. There's liability that's involved. There's all sorts of things. And we are pet friendly, and we do, a lot of us are dog lovers. But I mean, you need to have a double gate to have these. Your dog can come in and go and not run away. Perimeter fencing. It's not just putting a fence up. You need to have a 6-foot fence because dogs are all not little dogs that don't jump high. You need separate areas for large dogs, others for timid or smaller dogs. Waste stations, for the pet waste, and depending, that's something that we don't want at the front of our buildings. With the dog parks, you'd have to place that, and we are built out. We don't have a lot of room. You need proper drainage because things can get muddy, bacteria, mosquitoes, and drainage is an issue. There's a lot of rock. We have done if the original garden areas, we had to tile and do all sorts of stuff because of the drainage issues. And the other thing too is we have no emergency call type system for this, and it's going to be almost 100 degrees the next week. So as much as we are dog lovers, and I didn't mention this last time it came up, I don't think this is something that we're going to be pursuing just because of the challenges, location. And it doesn't mean we don't like dogs. It just means that. So anyways, but since that was submitted, I'm happy to answer that question again. The campus has so many beautiful plants. Would it be possible to post a map on Uniguest identifying the plants? Presumably, LSI works on a plan that identifies plants. Ideally, I would love to see markers by the plants, but I know that's costly and a logical problem. Thanks for considering. We sat down and talked about this. Good suggestion. I talked with Eddie. He's working with LSI. If you're on the landscape committee, they submit pictures of the plants that we're doing in the fall and the spring. So we're looking, maybe we can just have the pictures of the plants and trees we have on Uniguest so you can access them, bring your phone. So it wouldn't be labeled at the actual, but I think this would probably, so I mean, good suggestion, and we're seeing if we can come up with something like that, because I think that'd be beneficial. I mean, I'd refer to it if I, saw a plant that I wasn't sure what it was. So stay tuned there. Could pictures of the reception desk staff please be posted on the staff directory or on community apps? We did get a little behind, not just on the receptionist, but with other employees as well. But I believe this was all updated on Monday of this week. So thank you for pointing that out. And I think that has been resolved. What hours is someone at the reception desk? I called about 8:15 and no one was there on a weekday. Please tell us weekday and weekend hours. Thank you. I don't like to bother Summerfield. Sometimes I can just call security, but sometimes the front desk is more relevant. 8:15, we're not sure if that's 8:15 a.m. or p.m. If it's 8:15 p.m., it's because it is the front desk has closed. 8:15 a.m., somebody should have been there. But to answer the rest of that question, it is 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and we're pretty good at keeping that staffed in those hours. Weekends and holidays, 9 a.m. to 5:30. And whenever someone cannot answer the phones, it rolls over to the health center. And this is not bothering anybody. This is the intent, because we always want somebody to answer. So don't feel, if you're calling after hours or if someone's on their break on the weekend, calling and having it roll to the health center, it does that automatically, is not something you should be worried about doing. Since this is the largest home I've ever lived in, I'm curious what the total square footage under the roof of our building. Well, the person who submitted this lives in Redbud, so that building, and we're digging around a little bit, but the Redbud building is 176,335 square feet. So that probably is bigger than most people's homes that they live. Not everybody, though, probably. When I looked at this, our independent living, non-residential section, non-assisted living, non-skilled nursing. No, this is our total. Yeah, this would be all the apartments. I'm sorry, Dogwood, Redbud, villas, everything. 418,014 square feet. Don't quote me on these, but I believe the clubhouse is around 44,000 square feet. And with the wellness, it's another 26,000 with the wellness building and everything. So it is a lot of space and a lot of, it's your home, and utilize it. Now, the rule is you have to put your name on. If you have a suggestion, if you have anything that's, you have to put your name on. We've had the rule from day one, but we're going to make an exception. I almost didn't answer this because I thought I'd get too much heat, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to go for it. Why can't chicken quesadillas be added to the a la carte menu as it has been requested numerous times? It's a meal by itself, so you don't need sides. The ingredients should always be available, please. I love the chicken quesadilla too. I understand that. But I was talking to Mark, and a lot of ingredients. I mean, there are a lot of ingredients. And, we could put that on, but something else would have to come off. The good news, I think it's on next menu, isn't it? All right. No coincidence there. But please, I encourage everybody, if you haven't done a kitchen tour, in July, they're starting those. Are those Wednesdays at 2? The kitchen tours, Wednesday. If you haven't done that, go in, because I think it becomes much more clear that we are limited to the size, limited to what we can do with ingredients, and they do a great job. And our kitchen's not small, but with the space we have. So that is and then Kathy talked about the clinic and some of the issues there. I had a question about that. Because this is for somebody who was talking about their patio being cleaned in their apartment. She said, because of all the pollen that falls in early spring, can the outside composite deck flooring be damp mopped instead of just blown with a leaf blower? So I asked Lee to respond to that, and he said that, and I'm sure all you know this, the furniture and handrails on the balcony patio are wiped down with a saturated cleaning solution. Then we use blowers to blow the pollen and excess debris off. We have not mopped them due to concerns of having excess cleaning solution drip on a balcony or a patio below. He said, however, should a resident request a mopping of the flooring we can accommodate that. So it's kind of case by case. And if you would like that, just reach out to Lee and they can work something out and get that taken care of for you. Just a few more here. This is a good one. It says, "We are the happiest new residents possible." I should just stop right there. Thank you. Is there any way to encourage outdoor dining during this gorgeous weather? Is it too much to ask our servers? Could there be an easy outdoor menu for outdoor, or even serve ourselves and return dishes to a tray? We do get this question quite a bit. We have always, outdoor dining at Fireside is available anytime the weather's decent. If you want to eat outside, when you come up for lunch, I think you can just come up and request that. We have 4 tables that are out there. At dinner, if you have a reservation, you can say, "We'd like to eat outside." Ideally, you could put it in the notes when you make your reservation. But if I put in the note that next Wednesday I want to eat outside and it's pouring rain, I mean, so that's pretty difficult. So it's kind of easier to do it. But the one thing I do want to share, if you come to the dining room and say, "We'd like to eat outside tonight," and you're seated, and after 10 minutes say, "Well, there's bugs and I don't want, it's too hot," we probably won't be able to accommodate you back in the dining room just because of the way the reservations work. But this has come up a couple times recently, and yeah, we're happy to do that. If a week ago people were much more excited than they are probably in the next week or so. But it is a nice area, and so feel free. Mark said he has no problem with his team handling that. 2 last questions, and these came up at the council meeting, and I was asked to address those at this meeting. One was to explain how handicap parking works in the buildings. When Magnolia and Dogwood were built, and we opened back in 2007, and if you read your residency contract, if you're in any of the apartments, it says that you are entitled to 1 underground parking spot with your apartment home. It's an obligation, and it's actually in the residency agreement. Well, when they built those 2 buildings, they built the exact number of parking spots. Let's take Dogwood, for example. 33 apartments, 33 parking spots, 1 for each. That included the handicap spots that by code we have to to get your building open, to get your certificate of occupancy, you need to have a certain number of handicap spots. So that's been a challenge from day one. Assigning the spots, we've said, okay, if you're on the 3rd floor of a building, the farthest from the elevator, your parking spot in the garage will be the closest to the elevator. If you're on the 1st floor right by the elevator, sorry, but when you go to the garage, it's probably going to be the furthest. You can argue it all you want, and I know it doesn't solve problems, but it's really the only way we could come up with that. We could explain our reasoning behind it. Those handicap spots in Magnolia and Dogwood, because they are included in the overall, have caused some problems. We do have to reassign, and so there's a little bit of musical chairs in those. Redbud, we originally were going to build, I think, 121 apartments. Courtyard building ended up being 97 apartments, E-shaped. And when we were in the planning stages, I said, please don't give us 97 parking spots, including the handicap. Give us some extra spots. And they did, and that was helpful. In Redbud, we don't have near the problems with that. So little history with that. And then the last question was, I know we sent something out last couple weeks about food costs going up. If anybody's been to Publix, man, I remember when I ate flank steak and had to marinate it, and it was cheap, but it was supposedly good for you. Now it's $37 for a 2-pound. It's like, I don't know what's going on with this. But anyway, we really try to keep our prices. I mean, Mark's always getting information and addressing that. And the question is, okay, you increase the prices in June. Do we get an increase in our dining allowance? And the answer is no. We've increased that dining allowance the last few years. We've done that at the beginning of the year as part of your monthly fee increase. And so, I mean, we can't, adjust that. So I understand the question, but no, we will not be adjusting that dining allowance probably until next January. So, all right. Are there any other questions other than the ones that were submitted? Yes. Is there a plan to replace the podiatrist? Does anybody know a good podiatrist? I'm only half kidding. Kathy, do you want to hold on? No. It's official.
I'm working on it. I really do have a couple good leads, but if there is a podiatrist that you know that would be interested, please reach out to me. But I am working on a couple leads with that.
I never understood how important the podiatrist was, but several years ago, they scheduled a podiatrist at the same time as this meeting. And I had very, very poor turnout because that was very humbling. I knew where I, stood as opposed to the podiatrist. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much for coming and have a great afternoon.